How's it going, you guys? It's Scott with Everyday Home Repairs. Now, installing cabinet pulls can be a great way to update the look of your kitchen or your bathroom. It doesn't take much time, but there are a few tips and specifically specialty tools. If you have them, this can make the project so much easier and ensure you're getting the holes exactly where you want them the first time. We're going to bring on Emily Lopez from the YouTube channel You Can DIY to help us out and walk us through the full process. And if you like what she's doing, she's got a ton of other DIY friendly videos over on her channel, so make sure to check the link in the description.
If you've just bought new cabinets, or like me, I took the plunge and I built my first cabinet ever, then a lot of times you're gonna want a cabinet pull. Now, some cabinets you don't need a pull. There's a little bevel or something on the edge where you can grab them, but the way these are built, they're just a shaker style. I do need to install a cabinet pull. And one of the most traditional types of templates that I've always seen and had, you'll see these a lot in orange, and there's a couple different types, like for the corner of the cabinet and for a drawer is something like this. The problem is when you have something like this, and you want a large pull and it doesn't fit. I have found this other option online, and the cool thing about these is if you get the plastic version of this, you can get it for not much more than what this costs at your hardwood store. I sprung for a little bit more and got the metal version, but I still think it was under 60 bucks. We'll give you a link. But this is way handier because you can do pulls that are significantly larger. I mean, I can go even bigger than what I'm doing here. There's a couple things that I think make something like this a much better option. I have noticed that with this, you're just making your lines, you're making a mark, and then you're drilling. And if you don't drill perfectly straight, you can actually drill your hole at a bit of an angle and then have a kind of a tough time when you're trying to install your pole and get the screws through there. So the nice thing about something like this is you're actually gonna put it on and drill through it. You have this metal guide and it's gonna help you drill straighter so you're less likely to have some error. So I think that's really nice. You can slide these pieces, and if you just put this right in the center, because I want that to go in the center, then you can tighten or loosen to get it lined up. So what I'm gonna do to get this exactly where I want it is I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna actually put my pole on here, and then I'm gonna tighten this exactly where I want it. Essentially, what I have done to find my alignment is I've centered this piece is adjustable. I've centered that on my center line, and I actually just put the pole on, and these pieces each adjust side to side. I got them until they were the same amount from each side where I wanted them, and then I tightened those. So now I can actually take my pole off. So the next thing I need to do is find the center line on my cabinet. Now you have a couple options. You, of course, can just measure and divide in half, but sometimes you have a weird measurement, right? Like you have one of those measurements that's got a weird fraction or you can't get right in the middle of it. We've all had that. So here's a trick I like. And you can use anything. You can use a piece of paper, you can use a piece of string, anything that folds. And basically what we're gonna do is we are gonna make a template the length of our cabinet. Then you're gonna take your piece and you're gonna fold it exactly in half. You don't have to do any math. You don't have to get your numbers right. You just have to fold in half, which we all learned when we were little kids, right? So you can kind of see I'm aligned from side to side, just based off of aligning off of my center line. And then those I made off my center line, so everything's based on that. Now, I definitely don't think this is something that you would need to clamp, but if you're just worried about this moving on you while you start drilling, you definitely could put a clamp on here just so you're not gonna get any movement from when you do one hole when you do the other hole. So I've selected the middle size bit that came with the template kit, and I am going to just put it in my drill. Okay, here's the thing you need to do too. Get your drill up to speed before you start going through. If you start speeding up your drill once it touches, it's gonna tear whatever you're drilling into more. Now from the inside, you're gonna take your bolt and you're gonna slide it through your hole. From the front, your bolts are just gonna stick out a little bit because we're just trying to get a nice grab into our pole. And so I'm gonna, from the inside of the cabinet, I'm gonna take my drill or my screwdriver, and we're going to start threading that into the pole. Now, you don't wanna do one all the way because then you're gonna have a hard time aligning it. So you wanna come over to your second one and start it out. and then just go back and forth, and you can push that in tight because you want it flush, obviously. And then from the inside, you're just gonna hold this so it doesn't push out. And then from the inside, you're just gonna tighten those in the rest of the way. I've reconfigured this and I've put this piece on the top. Now I took this off when I did the drawer. This has a little piece that you can put flat. So this is gonna allow us to make sure we're flat at the top and we make sure we're flat at the side. So we're not, installing a canted pole. The internet tells me that we want the top of our pole to be mounted in line with this. And so we're going to put our cross piece on top, and then we're gonna slide this up to align with the center of there. So now that that piece is where it's gonna go, we know that our bottom piece has to be just whatever the length of our pole is. So we're gonna align the bottom piece now and tighten that. Now I wanna measure the center of that. So to find straight in the center of my framing piece, just like we did before, I'm just going to take a piece and cut it the length of that. And we're gonna get it exact, so we're gonna trim this down probably a couple times. So we've cut a piece of paper. You could also do a piece of string or something, exactly that width. We're gonna fold it exactly in half. And then like we did before, you can either go off your fold or you can make a little mark on your fold so you can see it a little bit better once you unfold it. So I'm just doing a little mark with my pencil. So then when we spread it back out, that's our center line. So that's exactly in the center of my framing. I don't need a tape measure to tell me that. And then now we have to figure out, we're gonna probably try to align with this piece up here, and we're gonna look right in the middle of the hole, and we wanna see the center of our line. So since I know the center of that hole is gonna be up here, all I'm gonna do is just draw a line, and I'm not gonna do the line the whole way because I don't wanna have to erase it, but I'm gonna do it up in that region so I can see it when I look through that hole. And I know it's gonna have to go that way, so I'm just loosening this. So we're tightening that, we're gonna tighten that, and then we're just gonna take another look. There you go. Now we're gonna do the other ones. One trick to keep in mind is you're gonna have to change from this door to that door, the directionality. You're basically gonna have to flip it. So when you do this one, and then you do the diagonal door, so if you want the same placement, that one, so left bottom to right top, all you have to do is take this and flip it and do that. And so do all the doors that you can with your setting before you take it apart and reconfigure it, and then go do all the opposing doors, and that will save you some reset time on your template. Thanks for hanging out and installing cabinet hardware with me today, guys. If you want to learn how I built these cabinets by myself, what I learned and what I would do differently next time, then go check out this video right here.